It's a huge moment, a turning point for our country, but it also raises new questions. So here to help answer some of those questions, Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of Brown University School of Public Health. He joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. So this was quite the turnaround from the guidance that we were given last month. Boil it down for us. So if you're fully vaccinated, is everything now considered safe without a mask?
Yeah, so this was a turnaround and it was great news. If you're fully vaccinated, pretty much everything. I can talk about the few things that are not, but the way to think about it is if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask outside. You generally don't have to wear a mask indoors. The one big exception is if you're in crowded spaces where you can't have basically you're sharing the air with a lot of people. So a packed outdoor concert, an indoor concert. And partly because infection numbers are still high. There's still a lot of people who are not vaccinated yet. And so the CDC is saying, and I think they're right, that in those crowded areas, you want to keep wearing a mask. Other than that, if you're fully vaccinated, you're good to go.
We should keep this screen up for just a few moments here, Dr. Jha, because there's so much information between vaccinated and unvaccinated people. Here's the thing. Early on, you were one of the first to really point out that it was safe to be outdoors without a mask by and large. What do you make, Dr. Jha, of some of these governors who, despite the new CDC guidance, have said, you know what, we're still going to require masks by and large?
Yeah, so I guess what I would say is a couple of things. I mean, first of all, there's always a transition period in these kinds of things. I do think governors should relax outdoor mask mandates. That doesn't quite make sense. But on the indoor mask mandate, I've actually said I completely agree with CDC's recommendations from yesterday, though I believe indoor mask mandates should remain for probably about another month. And that is enough time to give everybody who wants to be vaccinated enough time to be fully vaccinated. And then I think indoor mask mandates can be pulled as well. So, every governor, every state is kind of going to figure this out on their own, and they're coming up with their own comfort zone of what feels right for them.
Dr. Jha, I want to play you a clip of something Dr. Walensky said this morning regarding, 12 to 15-year-olds, they can get vaccinated. And the head of the second largest teachers union called for full-time in-person learning. So here's what she had to say about that this morning.
I believe that with the vaccine, with the mitigation strategies that we have in place, with all the testing strategy that we have in place, thanks to the American Rescue Plan, that we really should all be back to school full-time, 5 days a week.
So are there risks to sending our kids back to school full-time?
This fall, no. I mean, I really think that, again, we have so much capability now to make it a very safe place, right? So for all the teachers and staff will be fully vaccinated. Older kids, 12 and older, will all be fully vaccinated. Anybody who wants to be. And by the way, the other thing is that infection numbers are going to be incredibly low. And there are now a lot of resources for schools to upgrade ventilation and make sure that they've got the kind of right environment. It's really exceedingly low risk at this point to send kids back to school full time.
And to follow up on that, I mean, what about us parents who have kids under 12 who can't get vaccinated yet? How can I justify not wearing a mask and still expect them to wear a mask? I mean, do we have to just show the right behavior so that they kind of follow along?
Yeah, this is tricky. I have a kid. My youngest one is 9, and he's obviously not vaccinated and probably won't be for several months. And the way I have thought about this is we're going to avoid a lot of indoor spaces. When he goes inside, we'll have him continue to wear a mask. It is a little bit funny to have one part of our population. The truth is that he's going to be very low risk. One of the other things that's going to help a lot is that infection numbers across America are dropping continuously. If more people get vaccinated, those numbers will come down further. But we are in a funny situation where we're going to have a chunk of our population, including kids, unvaccinated, and we should have to pay a little extra attention to that.
So Dr. Jha, this is all predicated on the idea that folks have been vaccinated, and right now it's basically an honor system. Just you see them on mask, you don't know. So are we going to be looking at some sort of a proof system that shows that you've been vaccinated, and are people going to still feel safe going into, say, Broadway theaters, things like that?
Yeah, this is a fabulous question. So I don't think we're going to have any kind of a proof system from the government. I don't see the federal government doing anything on this. I think there are going to be two or three things. One is I absolutely think you're going to have businesses require it for their employees. I'm already starting to hear that a lot because that's what makes office spaces safe. Things like Broadway shows are interesting because the question is, what are they going to do? Are they going to require? They could require vaccinations. That would be one thing. If not, if half the people showing up to that Broadway show are unvaccinated, unmasked, it's going to be a pretty high-risk environment for everybody. And so you can imagine Broadway shows either requiring vaccinations or testing everybody before the show to make sure that people are actually negative before they come in. That's going to be the tricky navigation for the weeks and months ahead.
And really quickly, families are starting to get together. The weather is warmer. What if you have some relatives who still aren't vaccinated for whatever reason? How do you navigate that? And also, are they more at risk now if they're not vaccinated because so many people now are not wearing their masks?
Yeah, so they're both people who are not vaccinated and then also obviously people who are immunocompromised for whom the immune system doesn't work as well, or the vaccine doesn't work as well for their immune system. I think people have to remain careful. Outdoors is, again, very, very safe. So I think getting together outdoors is super safe. But if you're getting together with unvaccinated family members, indoors, you're basically subjecting people to risk. They're essentially putting themselves at risk. So I would encourage them to get vaccinated as quickly as possible.
And Dr. Jha, finally, I got vaccinated. I was fully vaccinated like February 9th. What about boosters? Do you think at some point we're going to be looking at getting another shot if we continue to see these variants popping up?
Yeah, we hear a lot about it. We've heard the CEO of some of the companies talk about it. I don't expect us to get a booster this year. I have been fully vaccinated since February as well. I expect at some point in 2022 I might get a booster. We all might. I think there's a very low likelihood it'll happen before then. These vaccines are really terrific. They're pretty durable. I think they're going to give us a long-standing protection. They're holding up against variants quite well. I'm not worried about short-term need of a booster.
All right, Dr. Jha, thank you very much. Very good information. There were a lot of questions. And if you have not yet received your COVID vaccine, I feel like this morning is a big enough incentive to do that. You can still use our interactive Plan Your Vaccine tool to find out where you can get your shot.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.